So in this video, we'll be learning how to find the surface area of a rectangular prism. First, we need to understand what is a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism, you can imagine it like a box. So basically, this box has 6 surfaces. So this is one surface, this second one, and you have to remember that this is a 3D model. So this is one of the surfaces, and the identical one behind it is this one. Now each of these surfaces is just a rectangle. So you can see this is a rectangle, this is a smaller rectangle, and so on. And there is a rectangle on the top of this box and at the bottom also. Now what we are trying to do is when we say we want to calculate the surface area, it is basically the total area of all the surfaces of the box. And we will find each of these sides and just add them up for calculating the total area. So now let's see the formula. It mentions or it states that it is 2 times WL plus HL plus HW. And now if we just ignore the formula, all we're doing in this formula is we are finding, I'm going to shade this rectangle and then I'll show you. So how do you find the area of the red shaded rectangle over here? The length is this part and the width is this part, right? So if this is if we want to calculate the red shaded rectangle over here, the length is this part, I mean this line is this length, and the width will be equal to this side, right, which is basically h. So all we're doing here is we are doing L multiplied by h for calculating this side. Now there is the same side behind, which let's highlight that, which is the same side as this, since it has two identical sides. So that is why we have this times 2 outside. Now let's move on to the next rectangle. Let's do this one, the bottom and the top one. So this is one rectangle up and this is the same rectangle above, so that's why we have multiplied by 2. And now if you look at calculating the area of this rectangle, it is going to be L, which is this length, multiplied by the width, which is this one, right, which is W. So here it will be plus L multiplied by W, and the last rectangle, which is left on the left side and the right side, is this one, which is going to be W multiplied by H, right? So length multiplied by width, which is the same thing. So plus W into W, or let's say H into W, which is exactly the formula here. And of course, since we have two sides, we multiply this entire thing by 2. So that's the logic behind it. It's pretty simple. So actually you don't really need to memorize this formula. You can just multiply each of the rectangle and find them. So now let's do an example with actual numbers. So let's say we have this side as 3, this side as 4, and this side as 5. Now let's plug in the formula. It's going to be 2 multiplied by, I'm going to calculate this rectangle first. So this one, the front side, I mean to say. So it's going to be 5 multiplied by 4. So let me just write that over here. And I'm not going to use a formula. I mean, you can memorize the formula, doesn't really matter, but I like to do it myself. 5 multiplied by 4 plus, now let's move on to the next rectangle. I'm going to do the top and bottom, so this part and this part, and that's why we have a times 2, so I'm just going to do one of them. So this is going to be the length multiplied by the 3 here, right? So let's do that. So now it's going to be 5 multiplied by 3. Now the last rectangles, 2 rectangles left, are this one and this one, right? So that is going to be 3 multiplied by 4. And that's basically it. So now you just calculate this out. It's going to be 2 into 20 plus 15 plus 12. And this will give us, this is going to be 35 and plus 12 again, so 47 multiplied by 2 is going to be 47 multiplied by 2 is 80, and then 94. And that's basically it. And the units for surface area is going to be, if this is cm and all the units are in cm, is just going to be cm squared, as the unit for area is always whatever unit squared. So it could be feet squared, inches squared, it's going to be just squared. So that's it. And that's basically it. So if you have any questions, you can always ask in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer and help. And thanks for watching.